I have more respect for a man who lets me know where he stands, even if he's wrong.
We always said in Black Panther Party that they can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary.
New Nubian. Time Management and Goal Setting. Presented by Dr. Jonah Sanders. Course Objectives. To equip students with practical tools and strategies to manage their time effectively, set clear and achievable goals, and maintain accountability for their personal and professional growth. Course Outline. Module 1, Daily and Weekly Planning Systems. Module 2, Setting Smart Goals and Milestones. Module 3, Accountability Techniques. Module 4, Review and Reflection. Course Syllabus. Module Topic Time Learning Objectives. 1. Planning Systems Daily and Weekly Tools 20 minutes Develop effective time management routines. 2. Smart Goals Goal Setting and Milestones 25 minutes Create actionable and measurable goals. 3. Accountability Tracking and Motivation 10 minutes Implement strategies to stay on track. 4. Review and Reflection Summary and Sharing 5 minutes Commit to applying new techniques. Module 1. Daily and Weekly Planning Systems. Mastering the art of planning, boosting productivity with daily and weekly systems. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will understand the psychological and practical importance of planning for productivity. Be able to distinguish between effective and ineffective planning systems. Build and test a daily and weekly planning routine. Recognize how planning directly contributes to measurable productivity improvements. Introduction to Planning and Productivity. What is planning? Defining daily and weekly planning systems. The difference between planning and just scheduling. Why productivity needs structure. Cognitive science behind planning. Time blocking versus task listing. Key takeaway: planning brings clarity, control, and consistency. The psychology of productivity. How our brains process unstructured time. Decision fatigue and task switching. Benefits of planning. Reduced stress. Improved focus. Greater work satisfaction. Quick activity. List 3 ways your day could be more productive with a plan. Daily planning systems. Elements of a daily planning system. Morning priorities. Time-blocked schedules. Buffer times. End-of-day reflection. Using tools, digital versus paper. Google Calendar, Notion, Todoist, bullet journals. Mini workshop. Create your ideal daily plan template. Weekly planning strategies. Why weekly planning increases long-term focus. Components of an effective weekly plan. Weekly review and preview. Categorizing tasks by life domain, work, personal, learning. Aligning goals to tasks. Mini case study, how professionals plan their weeks for high output. Linking planning to measurable productivity. Why weekly planning increases long-term focus. Components of an effective weekly plan. Weekly review and preview. Categorizing tasks by life domain, work, personal, learning. Aligning goals to tasks. Mini case study, how professionals plan their weeks for high output. Daily planning systems, structures that work. Objectives. Learn how to structure a productive day. Explore different daily planning formats. Topics covered. Morning routines and evening reflections. Daily task lists versus time blocking schedules. Buffer time and flexibility in planning. Activities. Practice, build a daily plan for tomorrow. Journal. What's one thing I will do differently daily? Weekly planning systems, overview and design. Objectives. Understand the value of weekly planning. Learn to plan weekly with intention and review. Topics covered. Weekly reviews and pre-week setups. Aligning weekly goals with long-term goals. Habits of high performers and planners. Activities. Fill a weekly planner template. Role play, plan a week for a busy professional. Tools and technology for effective planning. Objectives. Learn about digital and analog planning tools. Choose planning tools that match personal style. Topics covered. Apps, Google Calendar, Notion, Trello, Todoist, etc. Paper planners and hybrid methods. Pros and cons of tech-based systems. Activities. Explore and compare two planning apps. Discussion. What tool fits my life best and why? Building planning habits for long-term success. Objectives. Build sustainable planning routines. Shift from reactive to proactive time management. Topics covered. Habit stacking and cue-based routines. Anchoring planning into daily/weekly life. Dealing with interruptions and schedule changes. Activities. Habit tracker design. Commitment exercise, my new planning routine. Integration, reflection, and action planning. Objectives. Integrate all knowledge into a personal planning system. Commit to implementing change. Topics covered. Common mistakes to avoid when planning. Personal productivity system, customization is key. Reflection, lessons learned plus what to do next. Activities. Final project, build your full daily and weekly planning system. Group sharing plus feedback session. Post-course self-contract and accountability partners. Productivity tools for planning, planners, calendars, and digital apps. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will understand the different categories of planning tools. Identify features and ideal use cases for each type. Practice using at least one digital and one analog planning tool. Choose the most effective combination of tools for their needs. Introduction to planning tools. Why tools matter in daily and weekly planning. The role of external systems in cognitive relief, offloading memory. How the right tool increases consistency and follow-through. Overview of planning tool categories. 3 core types. Paper planners. Calendar systems. Digital apps. Overview of hybrid systems and how to mix tools effectively. Calendar systems, structure and scheduling. Digital calendars, Google Calendar, Outlook, Apple Calendar. Features. Time blocking. Reminders/alerts. Color coding. Best for. Structuring meetings and appointments. Managing time-bound tasks. Hands-on exercise, create a weekly plan in Google Calendar or Outlook. Calendar apps, planning by time. Objective. Use digital calendars to block time and schedule events effectively. Topics covered. Time blocking with Google Calendar. Repeating events and reminders. Integrating calendars with other apps. Activities. Practice, build a daily schedule in Google Calendar. Scenario, adjusting your calendar for unexpected tasks. Task management apps, planning by priority. Objective. Use to-do list apps to organize and prioritize tasks. Topics covered. Setting up projects and task lists. Deadlines, priority flags, and labels. Managing overwhelm with checklists and subtasks. Activities. Demo, create a project in Todoist. Personal task load audit plus planning exercise. All-in-one tools, Notion, Trello, ClickUp. Objective. Explore advanced planning tools that combine notes, calendars, and tasks. Topics covered. How Notion works, databases, templates, integration. Trello for visual task boards, Kanban-style planning. Building your own planning dashboard. Activities. Create, build a weekly planner in Notion or Trello. Partner share, showcase your dashboard or board. Customizing tools for personal fit. Objective. Tailor tools to match learning styles, work patterns, and preferences. Topics covered. Planning styles, visual, list-based, hybrid. Combining analog and digital systems. Automations and integrations for efficiency. Activities. Quiz, what's your planning personality? Worksheet, choose your ideal tool combo. Building habits around your tools. Objective. Create routines that support consistent tool use. Topics covered. Daily/weekly planning rituals. Habit stacking and reminders. Avoiding tool hopping and app overwhelm. Activities. Create your morning and weekly planning checklist. Roleplay. What do you do when your system breaks? Final integration and planning toolkit setup. Objective. Consolidate learning by designing a complete personal planning toolkit. Topics covered. Recap of all tools. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. Planning for future, reviews and goal alignment. Activities. Final project, set up your full planning system. Accountability partner check-in and toolkit walkthrough. Task prioritization mastery, using the Eisenhower matrix to focus on what matters. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will understand the theory and structure of the Eisenhower matrix. Classify their own tasks based on urgency and importance. Integrate the matrix into daily and weekly planning routines. Develop stronger awareness of time wasting versus goal-driven activities. Understanding task overload and the need for prioritization. Why task overload leads to burnout, procrastination, and inefficiency. Common mistakes in daily planning, reacting instead of prioritizing. Overview of prioritization methods, brief mention of ABCD, Moscow. Introduction to the Eisenhower matrix. Background from President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Principle: what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. The Eisenhower matrix explained. The 2x2 grid. Quadrant I, urgent and important do first. Quadrant 2, not urgent but important schedule. Quadrant 3, urgent but not important delegate. Quadrant 4, not urgent and not important eliminate. Key questions to ask for each quadrant. Real-world analogies, emergency room, planning a vacation, spam emails. Identifying and categorizing your tasks. Interactive task sorting exercise. Learners write down 12 to 15 tasks from their personal or professional life. Guided sorting into the 4 quadrants. Common misplacements and how to rethink task importance. How to break down large tasks into prioritizable parts. Applying the matrix to daily and weekly planning. Daily use. Start your day by reviewing yesterday's matrix. Use quadrants 1 and 2 to build your to-do list. Weekly use. Use quadrant 2 to shape big goals and longer-term growth. Visual tools. Matrix in Notion, Trello, or simple pen and paper. Templates and digital matrix generators. Quadrant 2, investing in long-term success. Objective. Recognize the power of prioritizing non-urgent but important tasks. Topics covered. Examples: learning, strategic planning, relationships, health. Building Quadrant 2 habits, proactive planning, scheduling. Benefits: clarity, balance, personal growth. Activities. Weekly planning exercise using Quadrant 2 focus. Peer activity, share personal, important but not urgent, goals. Quadrant 3, managing distractions and interruptions. Objective. Identify tasks that feel urgent but don't add value, and learn to manage them. Topics covered. The illusion of urgency. Setting boundaries and learning to say no. Delegation strategies. Activities. Roleplay. Colleague interrupts you mid-task. What do you do? List building. Common Quadrant 3 distractions in your life. Quadrant 4, eliminating time wasters. Objective. Identify and reduce non-value-adding activities in your routine. Topics covered. Common time wasters, social media, excessive browsing, gossip. Importance of rest versus procrastination. Strategies to cut or limit Quadrant 4 tasks. Activities. Audit. How much time do you spend in Quadrant 4 weekly? Worksheet. Healthy rest versus passive time wasting. Applying the matrix to daily planning. Objective. Learn how to use the matrix in day-to-day task planning. Topics covered. Morning/evening matrix review. Combining the Eisenhower matrix with daily planners. Color coding and labeling tasks in real time. Activities. Daily planning exercise. Create today's matrix. Share out. What does your day look like when organized this way? Applying the matrix to weekly planning. Objective. Integrate the Eisenhower matrix into long-term and weekly task planning. Topics covered. Weekly reviews using the matrix. Planning recurring important but not urgent activities. Avoiding overload in any one quadrant. Activities. Fill out a weekly matrix for upcoming tasks. Strategy session. How do I reduce Quadrant I tasks next week? Mastery and habit building with the matrix. Objective. Create consistent prioritization habits using the Eisenhower matrix. Topics covered. Building weekly reflection and matrix check routines. Making prioritization part of life, not just work. Sustaining focus and reducing burnout. Activities. Final project. Build a full personal task system using the matrix. Accountability plan. Set a 30-day Eisenhower matrix challenge. Group discussion. Lessons learned and changes noticed. Design your productive week, building a weekly schedule with prioritized tasks. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will understand the structure and purpose of a balanced weekly schedule. Use prioritization methods to shape meaningful, productive weeks. Practice creating and reviewing a full weekly plan. Build a repeatable system to track and adjust plans effectively. Introduction: Why weekly planning matters. Overview of weekly planning versus daily planning. The benefits of seeing your week at a glance. Connecting big picture goals to weekly actions. Using priorities to create intention, not just busyness. Review of prioritization tools. Quick recap of Eisenhower matrix. ABC method. Time blocking strategies. How to group and categorize tasks for planning. Weekly planning framework. Components of a successful weekly schedule. Fixed commitments, classes, meetings, deadlines. Priority tasks, quadrant 1 and 2 from Eisenhower matrix. Deep work blocks versus shallow/admin tasks. Personal time, exercise, family, rest. Tools to plan your week. Google Calendar, Notion, Trello, or printable templates. Guided activity, step-by-step weekly schedule creation. Step 1, brain dump. Write down everything you need/want to do next week, work, school, personal. Categorize into priorities, important versus urgent. Step 2, sort and group. Label each task by type, deep work, admin, errands, self-care, etc. Estimate how much time each task will take. Step 3, time block your week. Choose a scheduling tool, paper/digital. Place fixed events first. Insert priority tasks, use time blocks for deep work. Leave buffer time and breaks. Building the skeleton of your weekly schedule. Objective. Create the basic structure of your schedule, fixed appointments plus routines. Topics covered. Non-negotiables, classes, work, meetings, etc. Anchoring the week with routine tasks. Buffer time and transitions between activities. Activities. Block off all fixed commitments in a weekly planner. Add 3 daily routines, morning, lunch, evening. Prioritizing key tasks. Objective. Integrate high-priority tasks using the Eisenhower matrix. Topics covered. Start with quadrant 2 tasks, important but not urgent. When and how to schedule urgent tasks. Building momentum by front-loading high-value work. Activities. Choose 5 important tasks and assign them specific time slots. Label each task by quadrant and reflect on the balance. Spacing, batching, and breaks. Objective. Enhance your schedule with realistic timeframes and wellness considerations. Topics covered. Task batching and theme days. Scheduling breaks to avoid burnout. Avoiding time, stacking, overbooking. Activities. Review your schedule for overloading. Add at least 3 wellness breaks and 1 batch session. Integrating flexibility. Objective. Design a schedule that adapts to real life. Topics covered. The 80-20 rule in scheduling, leave 20% free. What to do when things go off track. Planning for flexibility and reset points. Activities. Add 2 buffer blocks and 1 flex day section to your schedule. Scenario planning. If I fall behind on Wednesday, what's my backup? Reviewing and refining your weekly plan. Objective. Evaluate and refine your schedule for clarity, balance, and realism. Topics covered. Checklist for a realistic weekly plan. Common problems, overplanning, no white space, unclear tasks. Building a habit of weekly reviews. Activities. Peer critique, partner reviews your schedule for balance. Self-check, use a 10-point rubric to score your own plan. Presenting your schedule plus commitment plan. Objective. Share and commit to using your weekly schedule in real life. Topics covered. Benefits of accountability and visibility. Using your plan throughout the week, digital or paper. Reflection on how planning changes behavior. Activities. Present your weekly schedule to a small group. Write a 3-sentence commitment plan, this week I will. Optional, partner up for a check-in after 7 days. Module 2. Setting SMART goals and milestones. Goal clarity and focus, mastering the SMART goal framework. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will understand each element of the SMART goal framework. Be able to transform vague intentions into specific action plans. Apply the SMART structure to goals across life domains. Recognize how to track and refine goals for better results. Introduction to goal setting. Why we set goals, direction, motivation, accountability. Common goal setting challenges. Vague intentions. Overambitious targets. Inconsistent follow-through. The purpose of structured goal setting systems. Overview. What makes SMART goals more effective than general ones? Specific goals. What makes a goal specific? How to clearly define goals to avoid vagueness. Examples of specific versus vague goals. Activity. Rewrite vague goals into specific ones. Interactive activity, SMART Goal Builder. Step-by-step worksheet-style activity. Learners choose one personal or professional goal. Break it down using the SMART framework. Peer or group work. Share your goal and give/receive feedback to make it clearer. Revise if any part is not SMART. Option to use template on paper, Notion, or Google Docs. The psychology of SMART goals. How clear goals boost motivation and discipline. Impact of measurable progress on dopamine and reward systems. Importance of short and long-term goal alignment. Achievable goals. Objective. Evaluate whether a goal is realistic and within reach. Topics covered. The importance of setting challenging yet realistic goals. Stretch goals versus impossible goals. Assessing available resources, skills, and constraints. Activities. Reality check worksheet. Can I achieve this goal? Partner activity. Evaluate and adjust each other's goals for feasibility. R. Relevant goals. Objective. Align goals with personal values and broader life or career aims. Topics covered. The value of relevance in staying committed. Connecting goals to personal mission or priorities. Avoiding goals that are distractions or people-pleasing. Activities. Value alignment checklist. Does this goal matter to me? Reflective writing. Why is this goal important to me right now? T. Time-bound goals. Objective. Set clear deadlines and timeframes for goals. Topics covered. The role of time in creating urgency and accountability. Short-term versus long-term deadlines. Using milestone markers and review points. Activities. Create timelines for your goals. Planning prompt. What's my 1 week, 1 month, 3 month benchmark? Tools and templates for writing SMART goals. Objective. Introduce tools and worksheets for crafting SMART goals. Content. Goal-setting worksheets. Digital tools for SMART goal tracking. Activity. Use worksheets or apps to write and organize SMART goals. Applying SMART goals to real-life scenarios. Objective. Practice using SMART goals across different life areas. Topics covered. SMART goals for health, finance, education, work, relationships. Adapting SMART goals for short-term versus long-term vision. Examples from business, school, and personal development. Activities. Scenario activity. Create SMART goals for fictional characters. Group share. Present one SMART goal and how you'll work toward it. Long-term planning and reviewing SMART goals. Objective. Build systems for tracking, adjusting, and reflecting on SMART goals over time. Topics covered. Regular review and progress checks. Adjusting goals when needed. Celebrating small wins and course-correcting failure. Activities. Build a SMART goal tracking template, digital or paper. Commitment contract. This is how I'll follow up on my goal. Final reflection. What did I learn about myself through this process? Milestone mapping. Breaking down SMART goals for sustainable progress. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will understand how and why to break goals into structured milestones. Develop clear, manageable sub-goals aligned with SMART outcomes. Use tools to track milestone completion and stay on course. Apply milestone mapping across personal and professional projects. Why milestones matter in goal setting. Big goals can feel overwhelming and cause inaction. Milestones create motivation by showing progress. Benefits of breaking goals into chunks. Increases clarity and focus. Enhances accountability. Allows for regular review and course correction. Analogy: climbing a mountain with checkpoints. Understanding the structure of milestones. Definition: a milestone is a specific, time-bound sub-goal that leads to your main goal. Relationship between goal milestones. Tasks. Characteristics of effective milestones. Clear deliverables. Realistic time frames. Logical sequencing. Activity, break a SMART goal into milestones. Step-by-step guided practice. Choose a SMART goal, from a previous lesson or new. Identify the final outcome. Divide the goal into 3 to 5 major milestones. Focus on logical phases, e.g., research, execution, delivery. Break down each milestone into actionable tasks. Assign tentative dates or timeframes for each milestone. Add checkpoints for review and reflection. Peer review option, partner up to critique and refine milestones. Tools and templates for milestone tracking. Planning systems that support milestones. Digital, Notion, Trello, Asana, ClickUp. Paper, project planners, printable milestone trackers. Creating milestone timelines or Gantt-style charts. Visualize with progress bars, checklists, or habit chains. Demonstration, set up a milestone roadmap in Trello or Notion. Creating a timeline for milestones. Objective. Set realistic deadlines for each milestone to stay on track. Topics covered. Spacing and pacing goals. Balancing ambition with availability. Planning using weeks, months, and seasons. Activities. Build a milestone map with deadlines. Use a calendar/planner to mark key dates. Measuring progress between milestones. Objective. Track and reflect on goal progress regularly. Topics covered. Checkpoints versus deadlines. Using habits and systems to move between milestones. Keeping score, charts, journals, and apps. Activities. Create a visual tracker for your milestone plan. Reflection exercise, how will I know I'm moving forward? Adjusting and reworking milestones. Objective. Learn to adjust milestones as needed without giving up the goal. Topics covered. Dealing with delays, failures, or changes. Flexible thinking, refine without quitting. Identifying warning signs of unrealistic pacing. Activities. Scenario practice, your milestone isn't met, what do you do? Update your plan with one revised milestone and new steps. Motivation and accountability tools. Objective. Use tools, systems, and social support to stay committed. Topics covered. Milestone celebrations and small wins. Habit trackers, reminders, and routines. Accountability partners and check-ins. Activities. Choose one tracking tool and implement it today. Partner activity, milestone accountability contract. Applying milestones to multiple goal types. Objective. Practice milestone planning across different areas of life. Topics covered. Types, academic, career, health, financial, creative. Adapting your strategy to the type of goal. Avoiding overcomplication. Activities. Choose one goal from each category and create milestones. Share one goal in small groups and get feedback. Final project, full milestone plan creation. Objective. Put everything together and build a complete goal plan with milestones and action steps. Topics covered. Finalizing timelines, checkpoints, and tracking. Creating your goal map. Committing to follow through and scheduling reviews. Activities. Final assignment, build your personal goal plus milestone roadmap. Presentation, optional, share your plan and give feedback to others. Reflection, what did I learn about myself and how I plan? Purposeful planning, aligning goals with your values and career vision. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will identify core personal values and long-term career aspirations. Understand the impact of alignment on motivation and success. Create SMART goals that reflect both their values and career paths. Build a habit of evaluating and adjusting goals as life and priorities evolve. The importance of alignment in goal setting. Why meaningful goals lead to long-term motivation. The danger of goal misalignment, burnout, regret, wasted effort. Definition of alignment, matching your goals with who you are and where you're going. Introduction to values-based goal setting. Identifying core personal values. Exercise, reflective journaling, what do I truly care about? Common personal values, growth, freedom, stability, contribution, creativity, etc. Use of a values list or card sort to prioritize top 5 values. Group discussion or pair share, which value drives your daily decisions? Exploring career vision and long-term aspirations. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Questions to guide clarity. What kind of work excites you? What environments do you thrive in? What impact do you want to make? Creating a personal mission or purpose statement. Aligning short-term goals with long-term professional identity. Connecting values plus career vision to SMART goals. Interactive mapping activity. Choose one career aspiration or project. Identify the personal value it supports. Draft a SMART goal that reflects both. Example. Value, creativity. Career vision, build a digital design portfolio. SMART goal, design and publish 3 portfolio pieces in Behance by October 1st. Mapping values to career goals. Objective. Show learners how to connect their values to specific career and life goals. Topics covered. Choosing goals that support what you believe in. Value-based versus outcome-based goals. Examples of aligned versus misaligned goals. Activities. Mapping exercise, how my top values align with my career ideas. Case study, real-life example of aligned versus misaligned goals. Clarifying career pathways. Objective. Help learners identify career options that reflect their values and personal goals. Topics covered. Career clusters and how they connect to values. Realistic planning, bridging dreams with pathways. Identifying industries and work styles that align with your values. Activities. Research activity, pick 2 jobs aligned with your values. Worksheet, what I want in my future workplace. Setting smart goals that reflect your values. Objective. Practice writing smart goals based on values and career direction. Topics covered. Recap of SMART goal structure. Adapting SMART goals to reflect personal meaning. Value-anchored SMART goals, making them motivating. Activities. Write one SMART goal for each top value. Peer review. Are the goals specific, measurable, and motivating? Creating a personal value-based action plan. Objective. Translate meaningful SMART goals into actionable steps. Topics covered. From values to steps, staying connected to purpose. Milestones and micro-goals. Ensuring each step reflects your why. Activities. Action plan template, goal milestone task. Checkpoint, does this step align with my values? Dealing with conflict between values and goals. Objective. Prepare learners to recognize and manage inner conflict or external pressure. Topics covered. When goals don't fit values. Managing expectations, family, society, peers. Making course corrections without guilt. Activities. Reflection, a time I felt torn between goals and values. Scenario discussion, what if a job offers money but no meaning? Final reflection and presentation, my aligned goal plan. Objective. Review and present each learner's personal goal plan aligned with values and career aspirations. Topics covered. Putting it all together, values, goals, milestones. Practicing ownership and confidence in your path. Tools for tracking and staying true to your vision. Activities. Final project, present your value-aligned goal and action plan. Reflection questions, what motivates me now, and what will I do next? From vision to action, writing SMART goals with clear milestones. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will write one clear short-term and one long-term SMART goal. Break each goal into actionable, time-bound milestones. Use tools and review methods to monitor goal progress. Evaluate and refine goals with peer or mentor feedback. Recap of SMART goals and milestones. Quick refresher of the SMART framework. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Importance of short-term goals, within weeks/months, versus long-term goals, months/years. How milestones make large goals manageable and trackable. Difference between short-term and long-term goals. Short-term goal examples. Complete an online course in 4 weeks. Apply to 3 internships this month. Long-term goal examples. Start a small business in 1 year. Graduate with honors in 3 years. Visualizing goals on a timeline, short-term supports the long-term. Making goals measurable. Objective, define success indicators for both goals. Content. How to quantify progress. Tools to measure goal progress. Activity, develop measurable criteria for each goal. Break down each goal into milestones. Part 2, Milestone Mapping. For each goal, identify 3 to 5 key milestones. Assign tentative dates to each. Break at least one milestone into small action steps. Example, long-term goal milestones. Goal, launch a personal website in 6 months. Milestone 1, research platforms and select one, week 1. Milestone 2, build and test homepage, month 1. Milestone 3, add 3 portfolio items, month 2 to 3. Breaking the short-term goal into milestones. Objective, teach learners to break their short-term SMART goal into manageable milestones. Topics covered. What is a milestone? Benefits of using checkpoints. Keeping motivation through smaller wins. Activities. Break your short-term goal into 3 to 5 milestones. Use milestone planning worksheet to organize steps. Breaking the long-term goal into milestones. Objective, help learners map out the key phases for their long-term goal. Topics covered. Strategic planning over months/years. Milestones as mini achievements along the way. How to adjust for unexpected events. Activities. Break long-term goal into 4 to 6 larger milestones. Add estimated timeframes and tools needed. Milestone mapping and visual planning. Objective, guide learners to visually lay out their goal plus milestone paths. Topics covered. Timeline mapping, when milestones happen. Gantt chart basics or goal map templates. Visualizing progression over time. Activities. Create a timeline or roadmap, paper or digital. Share visual plan with peers for ideas and feedback. Identifying obstacles and supports. Objective, build foresight by addressing potential challenges and sources of support. Topics covered. Common barriers to goal achievement. Role of accountability partners and tools. Planning for setbacks and motivation dips. Activities. Worksheet, obstacle solution, table. Partner activity, exchange support strategies. Monitoring progress and adjusting plans. Objective, learn to review and adapt goals and milestones. Content. Tracking tools and techniques. Flexibility and course correction. Activity, simulate a progress review and modify plans as needed. Sharing and reflection. Objective, share completed work, reflect on learning, and prepare for implementation. Topics covered. Benefits of sharing goals out loud. Building confidence in your action plan. Habits for tracking and revisiting milestones. Activities. Volunteer presentations of SMART goal plans. Guided journaling, how I'll stay on track with my goals. Module 3. Accountability Techniques. Stay on track, Harnessing accountability partners and mentors for consistent progress. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will understand the roles and differences between accountability partners and mentors. Identify how external accountability enhances goal achievement. Create a personal plan for integrating partners or mentors into their goal system. Use tools and best practices to maintain consistent and productive check-ins. Introduction to accountability. Why people struggle with consistency and follow-through. The psychology of external accountability. Social pressure. Increased motivation. Reduced procrastination. Accountability versus self-discipline. Why both matter. Understanding accountability partners. Objective: define what accountability partners are and their role. Content: characteristics of a good accountability partner. Types of accountability partnerships: peer, reciprocal, group. How partners provide motivation and support. Activity: identify potential accountability partners in your network. Role of mentors in accountability. Who is a mentor? An experienced person who guides, supports, and challenges you. How mentors differ from partners. More guidance, less mutual goal sharing. Broader view of your growth and future. Mentors' role in clarifying goals. Helping you troubleshoot setbacks. Encouraging progress reviews. Activity: design your accountability system. Step-by-step personal planning session. Choose one goal you're actively working on. Decide, accountability partner, mentor, or both. Plan your structure. Frequency of check-ins. Format: Zoom, in-person, chat, emails. What to share: progress, roadblocks, next steps. Draft a communication plan or script to propose accountability to someone. Benefits of mentorship. Objective: highlight how mentors provide vision, support, and real-world insight. Topics covered: career navigation and advice. Long-term perspective. Emotional support and confidence building. Expanding networks. Activities. Guest speaker, optional: a mentor shares their impact story. Journal prompt: what kind of mentor do I need right now? How to find an accountability partner. Objective: teach how to identify and approach a suitable accountability partner. Topics covered: characteristics of a strong partner. Setting boundaries and expectations. Sample conversation: would you be my accountability partner? Activities. Practice role play, asking someone to be a partner. Worksheet: list 3 possible accountability partners. How to find and approach a mentor. Objective: guide learners through mentor search and outreach. Topics covered: where to find mentors, school, work, community, online. How to approach someone professionally. How to prepare for first mentorship meetings. Activities. Write a sample email or message asking someone to be a mentor. Peer feedback on tone and clarity. Setting up the relationship, expectations and boundaries. Objective: learn how to build structure into partner and mentor relationships. Topics covered: how often to meet/check-in, choosing communication methods, setting clear goals and timelines, respecting boundaries and availability. Activities: template planning, partnership or mentorship agreement. Group discussion: what would make this fail or succeed? Tools and methods for accountability. Objective: introduce practical tools to manage check-ins and progress. Topics covered: shared trackers, Google Sheets, Trello, apps. Weekly check-in formats, what worked, what didn't. Goal journals and feedback loops. Activities. Create an accountability plan using a tracker or app. Set one short goal and plan weekly follow-up with a partner. Reflection and commitment. Objective: review key concepts and create a plan to use an accountability partner or mentor moving forward. Topics covered: recap, accountability partner versus mentor. Which works best for different types of goals? Action steps to build these relationships. Activities. Final reflection: how will I build accountability into my life? Commitment statement: here's my next step to find a partner or mentor. Using journals and progress trackers. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will be able to define what journals and progress trackers are and explain their role in daily and weekly planning. Identify different types of journals, e.g., bullet journals, reflective journals, goal-focused journals, and progress trackers, habit trackers, project trackers, milestone charts. Explain how journaling supports self-awareness, motivation, and productivity. Describe how progress trackers provide measurable feedback and help in goal achievement. Introduction to journaling and progress tracking. Objective: understand what journaling and progress tracking are, and how they differ yet complement each other. Topics covered: definition of journaling versus tracking, why they work, reflection versus measurement, benefits, awareness, motivation, insight, consistency. Activity: reflective discussion, when have I kept a journal or tracker before? What worked or didn't? Types of journals. Objective: explore different types of journals and their specific purposes. Topics covered: daily reflection journal, gratitude journal, goal setting or productivity journal, emotional processing or stress journal. Activity: sample journal pages review plus prompt, write one entry in each style. Exploring different types of progress trackers. Objective: identify and understand various types of progress trackers. Content: habit trackers, task completion charts, milestone trackers. How each supports different aspects of productivity. Activity: choose and design a sample habit tracker relevant to personal goals. Exploring different types of progress trackers. Objective: identify and understand various types of progress trackers. Content: habit trackers, task completion charts, milestone trackers. How each supports different aspects of productivity. Activity: choose and design a sample habit tracker relevant to personal goals. How to start a journal practice. Objective: learn the structure, timing, and mindset needed to begin journaling. Topics covered: daily versus weekly journaling, prompt-based versus freeform writing, morning versus evening journaling, dealing with "what do I write?" Activity: begin a 5-day journaling challenge with a writing prompt. Day 1 prompt: why do I want to grow? How to use trackers consistently. Objective: build habits around using trackers and making them useful. Topics covered: choosing a visual or digital format that motivates, keeping it visible and simple, pairing it with a routine, e.g., part of morning review, celebrating small wins. Activity: create a 7-day personal tracker and set reminders to update it. Reflecting with your journal. Objective: show how to gain insight from journaling, not just vent or list. Topics covered: reading old entries to find patterns, how reflection builds self-awareness, using "what, so what, now what" framework. Activity: reflect on 3 entries from days 1 to 3 of the journal challenge. Highlight repeated emotions or thoughts. Evaluating your progress using trackers. Objective: learn how to analyze tracker data for improvement and motivation. Topics covered: what to do with your completed tracker, spotting consistency gaps or breakthroughs, adjusting strategies based on the data. Activity: analyze your 7-day tracker and answer, what worked? What didn't? Why? Analyzing data from progress trackers. Objective: learn to interpret and act on progress data. Content: identifying patterns and trends, making informed decisions based on data, celebrating wins and recalibrating goals. Activity: review sample tracker data and discuss insights. Building a sustainable system. Objective: create a long-term personal journaling and tracking system that fits your life. Topics covered: customizing your method, digital versus paper, short versus long, daily versus weekly. Staying motivated over time. What to do when you fall off track. Accountability tips for journal/track success. Activity: final project: design a 30-day journal and tracker system with purpose, daily/weekly routines, 3 SMART goals, reflection questions, tracker format. Overcoming procrastination and distractions. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will be able to Define procrastination and identify its common causes, e.g., fear of failure, perfectionism, lack of clarity. Explain the difference between intentional rest and procrastination. Recognize common internal and external distractions that reduce productivity. Analyze personal patterns of procrastination and distraction through self-reflection exercises. Understanding procrastination. Objective: introduce the concept and psychology of procrastination. Topics covered. What is procrastination? Common causes: fear of failure, perfectionism, overwhelm, lack of motivation. Emotional regulation and task avoidance. Activity. Reflection worksheet: why do I procrastinate? With prompt questions. Group discussion or journaling. Recognizing types of distractions. Objective: differentiate between internal and external distractions. Content. Internal distractions: thoughts, emotions, fatigue. External distractions: environment, technology, interruptions. How distractions affect focus and productivity. Activity: track and categorize distractions during a work period. Mindset shifts to combat procrastination. Objective: develop mental strategies to overcome procrastination. Content. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Reframing tasks to increase motivation. Managing fear of failure and perfectionism. Activity: journaling exercise on limiting beliefs and positive reframing. Recognizing your patterns. Objective: help learners identify their personal procrastination and distraction triggers. Topics covered. Time of day patterns. Emotional state and procrastination. Environment influence. Activity. Fill out a trigger map worksheet to log when, why, and how they procrastinate or get distracted. Practice pairing tasks with focus times. Time blocking and planning. Objective: teach time blocking as an anti-procrastination tool. Topics covered. Time blocking versus to-do lists. Planning breaks and rest. The power of daily scheduling. Activity. Learners create a time-blocked daily schedule for tomorrow. The Pomodoro Technique and Micro-Steps. Objective: introduce time-based productivity methods that reduce avoidance. Topics covered. The Pomodoro Technique, 25-minute focus / 5-minute rest. Starting with micro-steps to beat inertia. Just Start, Psychology and the 2-minute rule. Activity: complete one Pomodoro cycle with a micro-goal. Reflect on how it felt to get started. Environment and habit design. Objective: learn how to design a workspace and habits that reduce distractions. Topics covered. Decluttering and workspace optimization. Creating visual and auditory focus cues. Anchoring focus habits with existing routines. Activity: evaluate your current workspace plus list 3 changes to make. Design a focus ritual, pre-work routine. Mindset shifts and motivation. Objective: address internal resistance and boost motivation. Topics covered: fixed versus growth mindset, self-talk and beliefs about productivity, why this matters, motivation anchoring. Activity: journal prompt: what happens if I keep procrastinating? Write a positive affirmation for overcoming procrastination. Digital discipline. Objective: learn how to manage digital distractions mindfully. Topics covered: notification control, app blockers and focus apps, intentional technology use. Activity: digital detox challenge, remove 3 distraction apps for 24 hours. Create a focus-friendly phone or browser home screen. Building an anti-procrastination plan. Objective: integrate all strategies into a personalized, sustainable system. Topics covered: review of learned tools, triggers, Pomodoro, digital discipline, mindset. Creating a Plan B for moments of resistance. Accountability check-ins and habits that last. Activity: final project, create a 7-day anti-procrastination plan. Daily focus strategy. Tools used. Morning ritual. Backup plan for off days. Activity: plan an accountability check-in schedule. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will be able to define the concept of accountability and its importance in maintaining productivity and planning habits. Identify different types of accountability check-ins, e.g., peer, mentor, self-checks. Explain how regular check-ins support goal achievement and habit formation. Assess their own productivity goals and determine appropriate frequency for accountability check-ins. What is accountability? Objective: establish a foundational understanding of accountability. Topics covered: definition of accountability, why accountability matters for goal achievement, self-accountability versus external accountability. Activities: group discussion or journaling, when was I most productive? Was someone keeping me accountable? Share experiences, or write silently, on how being accountable helps/hurt progress. Types of accountability structures. Objective: explore different ways accountability can be maintained. Topics covered: one-on-one check-ins, partners, mentors, coaches. Group accountability, teams, masterminds. Digital tools, apps, platforms, trackers. Journaling as a form of self-accountability. Activities. Worksheet: which form of accountability fits me best? Match personality types with accountability styles. Goal clarification before scheduling. Objective: clarify what the learner is working toward before setting check-in timelines. Topics covered: rewriting goals in SMART format, defining success milestones, matching goal type with check-in frequency. Activities: SMART goal review and revision. Identify milestones for one personal and one professional goal. Frequency of check-ins. Objective: learn how to determine the right check-in frequency. Topics covered: daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly check-ins. Matching task size and timeline to frequency. Avoiding overchecking, leading to pressure or burnout. Activities. Chart out a sample month of possible check-in points. Learners evaluate time needed for their goals. Accountability partner roles. Objective: understand who should be involved in your check-ins. Topics covered: what makes a good accountability partner? Responsibilities and boundaries. Using mentors versus peer support. Activities. Accountability partner qualities checklist. Select or visualize the ideal accountability person or team. Format and method of check-ins. Objective: choose the mode and structure of check-ins. Topics covered: in-person versus virtual, calls, video, messages. Written versus verbal check-ins. Quick check-ins versus detailed reviews. Activities. Choose a method for 2 scenarios, e.g., job search goal, health goal. Draft a simple check-in script or template. Planning the first 30 days. Objective: develop a 1-month schedule to begin check-ins. Topics covered: how to map accountability alongside milestones. Embedding flexibility, to avoid giving up when behind. Pre-scheduling reminders and alerts. Activities. Create a 30-day accountability check-in calendar. Set at least 3 specific dates with time, partner/method, and goal check. Handling missed check-ins or setbacks. Objective: build resilience and recovery into your plan. Topics covered: why people skip check-ins, shame, avoidance, forgetfulness. Bounce back strategies. Re-engagement scripts and reflections. Activities. Write a backup plan: if I miss a check-in, I will. Reflection prompt: what helps me restart? Integrating check-ins with journals or tools. Objective: strengthen accountability by pairing with tools. Topics covered: using habit trackers or planners. Linking check-ins with weekly reviews. Syncing with apps, Notion, Trello, Google Calendar, etc. Activities. Choose or customize a check-in template, digital or printable. Sync sample check-in schedule to a Google Calendar or planner. Final presentation: my accountability check-in plan. Objective: learners present their full plan and prepare to launch. Topics covered: summary of their plan, goals, schedule, partners, methods. How to evaluate progress in 30 days. Next steps for staying consistent long-term. Activities. Fill out a full 4-week accountability check-in plan. Optional: partner presentation, share your plan with a classmate or group. Module 4. Review and reflection. Recap of key strategies and tools. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will be able to Recall the main planning strategies covered throughout the course. Identify the key tools introduced: planners, calendars, apps, journals, trackers. Explain how each strategy and tool supports productivity and goal achievement. Compare the advantages and best uses of different planning tools and strategies. Setting the stage for review. Objective: reconnect learners to their learning journey and the purpose of reflection and review. Topics covered: importance of review and reflection in mastery. Emotional and cognitive benefits of looking back. Framing: what did I learn and how did I grow? Activities. Reflective journaling: where was I when I started this course? Discussion: what makes reviewing more than just repetition? Goal-setting tools: what worked? Objective: revisit all goal-setting tools and evaluate personal effectiveness. Topics covered: SMART goals, long-term versus short-term goal breakdown, vision boards and goal maps. Activities: revisit your original SMART goals and adjust them. Group brainstorm: which goal-setting strategy helped the most and why? Time management strategies: what stuck? Objective: review and reinforce time management systems. Topics covered: daily and weekly planning templates, time blocking, prioritization, and the Eisenhower matrix. Avoiding overscheduling and burnout. Activities: case study: compare two student schedules, who's more effective and why? Update your weekly plan using your favorite strategy. Communication tools: what improved? Objective: reflect on personal growth in communication skills. Topics covered: verbal communication, tone, listening, body language. Written communication, emails, reports, messages. Assertive communication versus passive/aggressive. Activities: redraft an old email using principles of clear and respectful writing. Role play or reflect on one situation where communication improved. Professional behavior strategies. Objective: review the strategies for showing professionalism and workplace readiness. Topics covered: punctuality, dress code, and conduct. Workplace etiquette. Respectful interaction with supervisors and coworkers. Activities: scenario quiz, professional or not. Checklist creation, my top 5 professional habits. Communication and professionalism tools. Objective: revisit workplace communication strategies. Content: clear and respectful verbal communication. Professional email and phone etiquette. Active listening and body language. Activity: role-play a workplace conversation using best practices. Tackling procrastination, techniques that helped. Objective: identify procrastination triggers and tools that helped overcome them. Topics covered: understanding the procrastination cycle. Pomodoro technique, cue routine reward habit loop. Minimizing distractions and energy management. Activities: procrastination journal prompt, what triggers me and what works to stop it. Create a personal, distraction blocker, action plan. Reflective tools, how did you track growth? Objective, review reflective practices that supported personal awareness. Topics covered. Journaling habits. Weekly reflections. Learning logs or growth charts. Activities. Look back through previous journal/log entries. What patterns do you see? Reflection. How has reflection helped me become more intentional? Integrating tools into a daily system. Objective. Guide learners in blending various tools into one routine. Topics covered. Merging goal setting, accountability, and reflection. Habit stacking in morning routines. Long-term system sustainability. Activities. Create a My Daily System visual or checklist. Set a 30-day challenge to follow a personalized strategy routine. Final summary and personal strategy guide. Objective, recap the course and prepare learners to leave with their own toolkit. Topics covered. Consolidated list of all strategies and tools. Reflection on most impactful lessons. Commitment to ongoing growth. Activities. Complete the My Strategy Toolbox worksheet. Pair, share, or write the top 3 things I'm taking with me from this course. Final journal prompt, how have I changed, and what's next? Share one new habit or goal commitment. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will be able to understand the importance of sharing goals and habits for accountability and motivation. Identify a specific new habit or goal that aligns with their productivity and planning objectives. Articulate their chosen habit or goal clearly and confidently. Explain why this habit or goal is meaningful and how it supports their personal or professional growth. Introduction, the power of a single habit. Focus, understand why choosing one habit or goal is more powerful than chasing many. Topics covered. The psychology of focus and momentum. Habits versus goals, key differences and how they connect. Success stories of transformation through one commitment. Activity. Learner's journal, if I could change just one thing to improve my future, what would it be? Reflecting on past growth. Focus, review past efforts and experiences to choose an aligned habit or goal. Topics covered. Looking back, what's been working? What's been a struggle? Spotting patterns and strengths. Learning from past slip-ups or unfinished goals. Activity. Complete a personal reflection sheet on past goals/habits and their outcomes. Identifying a meaningful commitment. Focus, choose one powerful new habit or goal based on personal values and motivation. Topics covered. Why meaning and emotional drive matter in goal setting. How to tell if a goal is truly yours. Avoiding surface-level commitments. Activity. Use a meaning and motivation map to explore why the habit or goal matters personally. Building the why, emotional connection. Objective, strengthen motivation by connecting emotionally to your commitment. Content. Intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Visualization of success. Storytelling around your why. Activity. Write a short personal story about why this goal matters to you and share it with a partner. Planning for implementation. Focus. Break the commitment into clear steps and build a short-term plan. Topics covered. Habit stacking and environmental triggers. Tiny steps lead to big change. Planning for the first week of action. Activity. Design a 7-day starter plan for the new habit or goal. Visualizing success. Focus. Use visualization to mentally prepare and increase motivation. Topics covered. The science behind mental rehearsal. Visualization techniques, seeing, feeling, believing. Aligning self-image with the new commitment. Activity. Guided visualization, a day in my life with this new habit. Follow-up, draw or write a scene from your imagined success. Identifying support and accountability. Focus. Build a system of support to help follow through. Topics covered. Accountability partners and check-in systems. Sharing goals versus keeping them private, when and why. Role of reminders, trackers, and celebrations. Activity. Choose an accountability method and write a short script to ask someone to support your goal. Sharing the commitment. Focus. Build a system of support to help follow through. Topics covered. Accountability partners and check-in systems. Sharing goals versus keeping them private, when and why. Role of reminders, trackers, and celebrations. Activity. Choose an accountability method and write a short script to ask someone to support your goal. Overcoming barriers and adjusting the plan. Focus. Prepare for real-world challenges and problem-solving. Topics covered. Common goal killers, perfectionism, discouragement, distraction. Flexibility versus giving up. Redefining success, progress, not perfection. Activity. Complete a "What could go wrong" worksheet and write 2 backup strategies. Celebration and future focus. Focus. Celebrate the moment, solidify the decision, and look ahead. Topics covered. Why celebrating commitment, not results, matters. Looking 30 days ahead, how will you grow? The ripple effect of one habit. Activities. Write a letter to yourself to be opened in 30 days. Final share. My commitment is and I believe in it because optional. Group celebration or symbolic gesture, e.g., signing a commitment wall. Distribute time management in goal-setting worksheets. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, learners will be able to understand the purpose and benefits of using time management and goal-setting worksheets. Identify key components of effective time management worksheets. Recognize the essential elements of goal-setting worksheets, e.g., SMART goals. Complete time management worksheets accurately to reflect their daily and weekly priorities. Introduction to tools for success. Focus. Set the purpose and overview of how time management and goal-setting tools can improve daily productivity and personal growth. Topics covered. What are planning tools and why they matter? How worksheets help build habits and structure. Overview of what will be distributed and covered. Activity. Worksheet, self-assessment, how I currently manage my time. Learners rate their habits and routines. Brief share-out or discussion follows. Daily planning worksheet. Focus. Learn and practice using a daily planner layout. Topics covered. How to break a day into blocks. Scheduling versus listing, how to prioritize. Tracking energy levels and focus periods. Activity. Worksheet, my ideal daily plan. Students complete a sample day using time blocks. Plan tomorrow using the worksheet. Weekly planning worksheet. Focus, introduce a bird's-eye view of the week for proactive planning. Topics covered. How to map out priorities across a week. Anchor points, non-negotiables versus flexible time. Using weekly review for planning ahead. Activity. Worksheet, my weekly map. Plan next week. Identify gaps, overcommitments, or time wasters. Customizing worksheets for individual needs. Objective, tailor worksheets to suit different personal and professional contexts. Content. Modifying templates for work, study, or personal life. Adding sections for habit tracking, motivation, or notes. Activity, customize a provided worksheet template to fit individual needs. Time audit worksheet. Focus, track and reflect on how time is currently spent. Topics covered. Time awareness equals productivity boost. Hidden time drains and habits. Matching your time with your values. Activity. Worksheet, where my time goes. Record past 2 days, or plan for next 24 hours. Reflection, where is time being wasted? Eisenhower Matrix worksheet. Focus, teach how to separate urgent from important. Topics covered. The 4 quadrants, do, decide, delegate, delete. Fighting overwhelm with clarity. Using the matrix weekly. Activity. Worksheet, Eisenhower Matrix. Students sort their current to-do list into quadrants. Create a priority action plan. Habit Tracker Worksheet. Focus, build consistency and momentum through daily check-ins. Topics covered. How habit tracking builds accountability. Choosing habits to track. Using visual progress to stay motivated. Activity. Worksheet, Habit Tracker, 21-day challenge. Choose 1 to 3 habits to track. Decorate tracker with a motivational quote. Time blocking and theme days. Focus, Teach advanced planning using themed days or block scheduling. Topics covered. Time blocking versus multitasking. Focus days, flex days, admin days. Matching task types with energy zones. Activity. Worksheet, weekly time blocking sheet. Color code and theme each day of the week. Create a focus week plan. SMART goals and planning template. Focus, write one SMART goal using provided structure. Topics covered. SMART equals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Avoiding vague, impossible, or low-value goals. Connecting goals with values and routines. Activity. Worksheet, my SMART goal. Write, refine, and finalize one goal. List 3 small actions to begin immediately. Sharing plans and organizing your tools. Focus, reflect, share, and prepare to use worksheets independently. Topics covered. Reflection, which worksheet helped most? Creating a weekly rhythm of planning. Keeping printed or digital planners organized. Activity. Worksheet, my planning toolkit checklist. Organize a personal planning folder. Share favorite worksheet with a peer and explain why it helped.